Free and discounted counseling for kids and families who are hurting and have nowhere else to turn right here in our community. Your support through sponsorships, donations, or playing in the tournament brings hope and healing to those who need it most. Learn more and get involved at peacecounseling.org. That's peacecounseling.org, because every swing can change a life.
Get ready for a new NFL season with the best coverage of Chiefs training camp. Right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Steven St. John, live at Chiefs training camp.
It's going good. Coming in at guard, things are a lot faster.
Yeah, he's working all three of those spots, and really both guards, so we need everybody.
Kansas City's radio home of the NFL, the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl 60, and the best Chiefs coverage all season long. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279BI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the number one motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Track Talk with the Racing Boys. I'm Kirk Elliott. We're trying to get Scott Traylor connected from the Knoxville Raceway's National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. We'll try to get him locked and loaded here as soon as we can, but we're here to talk about a lot of racing going on, including the 360 Nationals at Knoxville. 2 nights are in the books. We got the big night tonight, and we've got all kinds of action just up the road at Iowa Speedway with the ARCA Menard Series opening things up last night. Brendan Queen winning the ARCA race at Knoxville, and today the NASCAR Xfinity Series race later on this afternoon. I think that gets the green flag at 3:30. And the NASCAR Cup Series, Iowa Corn 350 tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon. So we got all of that going on. 360 Nationals well underway. Rico Abreu on the pole for tonight's big $20,000 to win, plus lap money on the line. And whoever wins the 360 Nationals could walk away with $35,000 counting lap money. So we'll see what happens tonight. Tyler Courtney was last year's winner, but he's not able to race in this year's event due to an injury, had back surgery after that crash at Eldora here a couple of weeks ago. So we wish Sunshine the speediest of recoveries. Gio Scelzi is driving the 7BC car at the Nationals, this 360, as well as the big Nationals coming up this weekend after Gio stepped out of the KCP number 18 car that started the sprint car silly season. But we got a lot of drivers that have been injured here over the last couple of weeks, including Aaron Reitzel, who is a former winner of the 360 Nationals. He's laid up for a while with a broken foot. And Justin Sanders from out of California is driving the 87 car up at the Nationals. Brad Sweet is back behind the wheel of a car after he was T-boned at the Kings Royal and suffered a concussion. He's back and at it again. He raced on Thursday night at the 360 Nationals. Normally we don't see Brad Sweet in the 360 Nationals, but he's a former Knoxville Nationals champion and the reigning high limit racing champion and a 5-time World of Outlaws champion. So he's back and at it. And the most recent injury is in the dirt modified world, where Stuart Friesen was involved in a horrific crash. He's also a racer in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. That was a wicked crash that Stuart Friesen was involved in, so we wish him the speediest of recoveries. And also Justin Grant. big-time USAC racer and former Indiana Sprint Week champion, not able to finish out Indiana Sprint Week after being involved in a bad accident at Lawrenceburg Speedway last weekend, broke his foot. He's going to be out of commission for a while. He tried to give it a go earlier this week at Kokomo and just couldn't make it, and so he's going to sit out and try to recuperate and come back and drive these big Silver Crown races on the mile tracks coming up. Let's hope he can heal up quick. I think Aaron Reitzel, with his broken foot, he should be back in action, I think, in September. They're kind of targeting the Tuscarora 50 at Port Royal. We'll see Aaron Reitzel back behind the wheel of the Ridge & Sons 87, but Justin Sanders will be driving that car at tracks he's very familiar with out in California, so we'll try to see if Aaron can get back behind the wheel after that at a place he's done very well at, Port Royal Speedway. He won the $100,000 at the Weichert Memorial earlier this year. So a lot of things going on in the sprint car world and NASCAR. We're going to be following that this weekend. Todd?
Yes.
We got just a ton of stuff to talk about here this morning.
I'm just kind of surprised how many drivers we do have hurt right now. It's kind of, I think it might be a product of we're racing more now. Used to be Friday, Saturday kind of racings, maybe a special thrown in there every once in a while, but I think when you race every night of the week, it seems like we're almost racing 4 nights a week, it seems like. So I think that's probably what it is, but maybe these cars are a little bit safer and maybe these guys are not getting as hurt. You know what I mean? I think maybe sometimes these crashes tend to, we know how it is, Kirk. A lot of these drivers don't walk away from a lot of these crashes, and we've seen a lot of these guys walk away from these crashes, which is good. I don't like seeing all these drivers hurt, though. It's just kind of scary to seeing this many drivers hurt this time of the season. You know what I mean? We're talking broken foots and broken wrists, and Reitzel had a broken nose earlier in the year. I mean, we've had a lot of wrecks and broken necks. Let's just pray we get through the season without any more serious injuries. And I know that I know everybody's thinking about all the drivers out there, and I saw a very good post on social media buying those T-shirts from those drivers that aren't at the track, that aren't racing each week. That makes a heck of a difference for them, man. I saw one of the posts, everybody was buying a T-shirt on the thing, and it was and somebody had commented saying how much this really helps. So make sure you guys are still purchasing those T-shirts of these guys out there. It sure make a difference for these drivers. A lot of the guys aren't out there driving, making money. So
yeah, if they're not racing, they're not making money.
Yeah, so that's not good.
Buy a T-shirt. That's a good thing. We're trying to get Scott Traylor connected up there. We saw his face here just a little while ago. But,
yeah, you know how it is when you do Zoom and everything else. It just you're at the mercy of all the computers. So hopefully we'll get him dialed in. I know that we've got a live guest for the second part of the next or the final segment of race of hour one today, don't we, Kirk?
Later on this hour, we have Blake Walker, who is one of the announcers at Knoxville Raceway. Does a great job. His first full time up in the booth was last year, and he filled in for an ill Tony Bachhoven at the Nationals last year, working with Johnny Gibson. Unfortunately, Tony Bachhoven fell ill on the final day of the Nationals last year, and Blake Walker had to step up, and he did a great job. He's a great young announcer up at the Knoxville Raceway. He'll be joining us to give us a recap of what we've seen already this week and what to expect tonight on the final night of the 360 Knoxville Nationals. So Blake will be joining us live here coming up a little bit later on in the hour. And also coming up, we're going to hear from Carson McCarl, who was the top qualifier last night, and he ended up in 5th in last night's feature event. We spoke with Carson on Monday's Mostly Motorsport show, and we'll replay some of that interview coming up here in just a little bit as well. So we got a lot of things going on. Bill Wright is going to be joining us. He wears many hats. He is the museum director up at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. He also does PR work for the Knoxville Raceway and the Sprint Invaders and a lot of other things that go on in the world of sprint car racing. So we'll hear from Bill W., we call him, Bill Wright, coming up here just a little bit later on in the show. So a lot of things to go with here. And, of course, we're getting into the time of the year where we just have a lot of things that happen when you get into August, and we'll get into all of that right now. But Scott Traylor is joining us by phone. Sorry we couldn't get you hooked up with the Zoom. We'll try to work on that. Scott, how you doing up there?
I'm doing all right, Kirk. How are you doing?
Well, let's talk about last night. Boy, we've seen some good races up there the last couple of nights, haven't we? We saw Austin McCarl win Thursday night, and Rico out-dueling Ryan Timms last night. We've seen some pretty good races up there last. What'd you think of last night's show?
Well, I thought last night's show was pretty good.
What Rico and Ryan Timms. Now, Timms, these guys were battling back and forth, and Timms got out in front. But Rico, sometimes when you're not leading, you just know where to go, right? Sometimes it's a disadvantage leading a race, is it not?
You know, Ryan Timms gave Rico a little bit of a fit last night.
But Rico was able to get him back. What do you think about Rico? That was his fourth win at Knoxville. He's won 3 times in the 410. You and I were up there last Saturday night, saw him win in the 410 last Saturday night, but he jumped in the 360. And I don't see a whole lot of difference in his performance between the 360 and the 410 car. He's really got Knoxville Raceway figured out, doesn't he?
He does.
What do you?
He's really got it figured out, Kirk.
So what are your thoughts about him starting on the pole? And of course we've got the lineup set for tonight's A feature, with the exception of who's going to transfer out of the B main. We got Rico, we got Parker Price Miller on the front row tonight, Carson McCarl, who was the quick qualifier last night, and Kyle Larson will be on row 2. Ryan Timms, Justin Peck on row 3. Chris Martin, Justin Sanders filling in for Aaron Reitzel on the 4th row. And then we have James McFadden and Clint Garner. How do you see that, just the way everything is lined up right now based on the points that were earned, the split field in this event? Half ran on Thursday night, half ran last night. Just what are you thinking about outside of Rico Abreu, who's going to have a shot at this thing?
I think Rico is the man to beat. What do you think, Kirk?
Well, I obviously think that's the case. Start on the pole, but as I said earlier, sometimes it's a disadvantage being out in front. If you're behind, you kind of know where the leader is going. You can go where they ain't. There's been a lot of action going on up there. The leader, sometimes that's not a safe place to be. We found that out on Thursday night when Austin McCarl was able to chase down Chase. So what?
I think Sanders has a chance
in the 87 car. Yeah,
in the 87 car.
He's ran well at Knoxville too, has he not? I mean, he's had pretty good runs at Knoxville before. Remember, he qualified for the Nationals in Kevin Swindell's car here a couple of years ago at the 410 Nationals, so he knows how to get around Knoxville Raceway. That was a pretty good fill-in driver for Aaron, who's sitting out with that broken foot, to put Justin Sanders behind the wheel of that race car, wasn't it?
I think it is. I think it was a really good call.
So right now we have the back half of the field. We'll tell you who's lining up in the back half of the feature event tonight. Austin McCarl, who won Thursday night's feature event, will start on the inside of the 6th row with Cameron Martin. Then you got Chase Randall and J.J. Hickle on the 7th row. Terry McCarl, Brian Brown, who's won 2 of these 360 Nationals, starting on the 8th row. Gio Scelzi, Sawyer Phillips, Ryan Levitt, and Tanner Holmes. And then you take 4 more drivers out of the B main. Now, who are not in the A feature yet? Well, at the front half of the B main, you got Dazen Persley, Kerry Madsen, Ryan Giles, Kelly Miller, Jake Buback, Dustin Selvage, Jason Martin, Tasker Phillips, who we saw win the 360 show last Saturday night up there, Tony Ross, Kate Higday. That's your top 10 starters in the B main. So we got plenty of guys that didn't make the A feature yet. That's got to come from the B and the C main to work their way up through the field. This is about as star-studded a field as we've seen up there, isn't it, Scott?
It is. You know, you can't count out Parker Price Miller as well.
Yeah, he's driving the Bernie Stugin number 71 P car, starting on the outside of the front row. Carson McCarl won that big $15,000 to win race here a couple of weeks ago. In the 360, outdueled his brother Austin in that race. And, of course, Kyle Larson, what can you say about him? He's starting fourth. It's going to be interesting to see just how Larson's going to be doing, how quickly he can get up and start battling with Rico Abreu for that win up there. That's going to be the duel to watch, don't you think? Rico and Kyle Larson?
I think that is going to be the case, Kirk.
Yeah. So you having a good time up at Knoxville this week? What all you been doing up there?
Just hanging out in the RV.
Yeah, just going out and taking it all in up there. You're planning on being up there for the whole thing, right?
Right.
So we'll see you back up there tonight. So I'll tell you what.
So you're going to come back up here tonight, Kirk?
I'm going to head back up that way tonight. Going to go by way of Iowa Speedway first. Going to check out the Xfinity race up there before I head to Knoxville. Hey, I've got this soundbite from the winner from last night, and then we'll check out the sound from Thursday night. But first of all, we have Rico Abreu, who is the winner from last night's show. And I had that up there just a little bit ago. I don't have it right now, but we'll hear from Rico here coming up in just a little bit. But here it is. Rico Abreu, after his victory last night at the Knoxville Raceway.
Really special to have, the Dean Niddle Memorial partnership on our car. Such a great opportunity for Jeff Niddle, who puts on a race in Ohio for his father. That's just an unbelievable race, and he does a great job just promoting that event. But really, the hat tip to my team, Ricky Warner, Zach Middlebrooks. They just work really hard on this thing. We got a Charlie Fisher engine in tonight, so anyone getting into racing, wanting to get 360 racing, they need to call Charlie Fisher, because that motor was freaking fast right there. It felt like a 410. But I just said, I thank my team. They do an amazing job, and I'm really happy to have my wife and Gus here tonight.
That is Rico Abreu from Victory Lane last night, courtesy of the Dirt Vision broadcast. Let's hear from Thursday night's winner, Austin McCarl. I spoke with him after the feature on Thursday night. Congratulations on the win. Went from start to finish without any yellow flags. Or what was the biggest challenge getting around Chase?
Just getting through lap traffic, really, just trying to pick and choose your spots and what they were going to do in front of you, and really trying to decide if it was worth maybe following a lap car down on the bottom, or trying to run through the middle, or try and get your board open and cleaner around the top. So it was just really kind of a high-speed chess match, as my dad would say, throughout that whole thing, which made it awesome. Traffic is what sprint car racing is all about, and it makes things hairy, and really puts it in the driver's hands, and you got to have a really good car, and I had a really good car tonight,
and we'll hear more from Austin McCarl coming up in hour number 2. I do have a little bit of an interview I did with Kyle Larson. He finished second on Thursday night. Here's my conversation with Young Money after Thursday night's feature event. Running 360 car. How long has it been since you ran a 360?
I usually run about one a year out in Silver Dollar. But yeah, I mean, that's a quarter mile compared to a half mile. So yeah, probably been since the last 360 Nationals I ran here for a big track.
What's the biggest difference here getting around? You get around this racetrack pretty good in a 410. What's the big difference?
I think the tire being harder feels just a little bit different, and then obviously a little bit underpowered. Runs just build kind of slower, but it felt pretty normal out there, the way the track was and that feature. So the way you make grip and make speed and make decisions all felt, normal.
In this car, it's all about momentum, isn't it, to try to run down the leaders, but you did that tonight.
I mean, it's always about momentum, no matter what kind of car you race. So it's not too different, but thankfully we have a good engine from Ronnie Day, and I think that helps the most, with 360 racing. Seems like guys who have good engines run good.
Just a couple of NASCAR questions. What are your thoughts about Iowa Speedway? I know you went around there in a Corvette back in April there. What do you see about that racetrack that might be different from last year?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been a year since we've been on it, so I'm sure that pavement has aged for sure since then. And I don't know. We'll just see when we get on track. We were really good there last year, but I imagine the field as a whole is going to be much closer and get their setups much more dialed in. So, yeah, we'll see.
You feel your momentum is coming back now, really, in the NASCAR?
I hope so. I mean, a fourth and a second, and we executed well in both races. So it's what it takes to run up front in the Cup Series. So hopefully we can do it again this weekend.
You're planning on running 410, but you got to fly back and forth from Watkins Glen. How's that? What kind of challenge is that going to be?
I mean, I just got to we'll run our prelim night, hopefully lock in, and then, go back and forth on Saturday. So, but yeah, if you don't lock in, I usually can't run Friday, so we would just stay in Watkins Glen at that point.
So that is Kyle Larson's plan for the 410 Nationals. You got to do well on your qualifying night, which he's racing Wednesday. If he doesn't lock into the A main on Wednesday night's preliminary night, he's just going to stay in Watkins Glen the rest of the weekend, which makes sense. That'd be hard to make that run back. You can't run on Friday, because if you don't make the top 50 in points for the 410 Nationals, you got to run the Hard Knock show on Friday night. So that is Kyle Larson's plans for the rest of the weekend. He's got a pretty good starting spot for tonight's feature event on the second row. We're going to take a short break. We're going to hear from Carson McCarl. An interview that we did earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. We'll come back with that and more. You're listening to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810. W.H. Boy with the Racing Boys.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products.
Got 4.5 minutes here.
10-4.
Rod End Supply is an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Want to skip the driving and spend more time at training camp? Check out Stony Creek Hotel and Conference Center in St. Joseph, Missouri. They have unmatched amenities and lodge-like accommodations that you and your family will enjoy. Complimentary hot breakfast, indoor-outdoor pool, and free Wi-Fi. Make Camp in St. Joe a mini vacation. Do what I do and book your stay today. Call 816-901-9600 or go to StonyCreekHotels.com.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Summer is heating up, and so are the savings at Big O Tire. Right now through August 10th, get up to $200 in savings on select sets of tires. Whether you're planning a summer road trip or just need to upgrade your daily drive, Big O's got the deals to keep you rolling. Plus, Big O Tires offers expert services on brakes, alignment, oil changes, and so much more. All with financing options tailored to fit your budget. So make an appointment online right now at BigOTires.com and visit your locally owned and operated Big O Tires today. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
What's up, Kansas City? Steven St. John here for Window Nation. Summer's wrapping up, and your AC has been working OT just like me. So it's time to have Window Nation replace your home's windows in a day or less. And right now, get 50% off all window styles, 0 down and 0 payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. But hurry, KC, this sale ends soon, so don't miss out. Schedule your estimate now at 866-90Nation or online at windownation.com.
I'm in the waiting room of the Family Therapy Clinic with Brad McGee from LBA Home Services. Brad, family therapy?
Look around. Notice anything?
A lot of awkward-looking people with blank stares.
Exactly.
Okay, can we go?
So many families with problems just can't agree on the important stuff.
Got it. Should we leave?
Ever seen a family that's perfect?
I guess not.
There's only one I know of, LBA's Perfect Service Family.
Here we go.
We agree on everything. We all believe in scheduled maintenance on your heating and cooling system.
Okay.
We agree it should be easy to arrange and affordable.
Naturally.
And that families come first when there's a problem.
When you put it like that, LBA's Perfect Service Family might be the only family in town that gets along.
With LBA's Perfect Service Family, we put the fun in dysfunctional.
One simple idea, one name to remember.
Just remember LBA.
LBAservices.com.
Get ready for a new NFL season with exclusive coverage of training camp on Sports Radio 810 WHB. From training camp to the NFL Championship, your home for the best football coverage is Sports Radio 810 WHB. All of our amazing coverage on Sports Radio 810 WHB is brought to you by Greenlight Dispensary. Make sure to check out greenlightdispensary.com for all premium cannabis products. The best cannabis deals are always at greenlightdispensary.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Green flag goes in the air, and through the gearbox they go.
Final 4-race stretch run to the playoffs begins.
Two cars come together, and now they're really stacking and piling in.
At Iowa Speedway.
Cody Ware, great failure. He went wide open into the tire barrier.
It's the Iowa Corn 350, powered by ethanol.
Tune in for live race coverage Sunday at 2:30 on ESPN Kansas City.
And congratulations to Bubba Wallace, who wins the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What'd you think of that race there, Todd? That was
something else, too.
Pretty cool to see old Bubba.
Yeah.
He outran Kyle Larson twice on
and they didn't
overtime restarts.
And they didn't call it a.
They said he was going to run out of fuel, but he didn't.
And they hadn't even had enough for his burnout and drive all the way around 2-mile racetrack. So I think he was doing.
He had plenty of fuel.
I think he had plenty fuel. Maybe somebody was trying to fool us, but I was glad they didn't call that under raining conditions and stop that with the 4 laps left. That wouldn't have been.
It was a quick thing. I mean, it didn't take very long to drive the track up at all. About 10 minutes, it was done.
Because the whole track wasn't underwater. It was just a couple ends there, and so we know how that is. That's a big racetrack, Kirk.
So anyway, big win for Bubba Wallace, the Brickyard 400. We'll see what happens when. Looking forward to getting up to Iowa Speedway this weekend. Again, checking out the Xfinity race today. They're going to qualify the Cup cars at about noon today.
Yeah, you were just up there.
So Kyle Larson will have plenty of time to go down the 2 miles of gravel roads to get back to Knoxville.
Kirk calls me from the gravel road and said, boy, this is awful.
Driving between Iowa Speedway and Knoxville's not the normal way with the mile bridge out north of Knoxville. So you got to go down through a couple of miles of gravel roads to get from Iowa Speedway to Knoxville tonight.
Good thing
so it should be interesting.
Good thing for GPS.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. Well, Carson McCarl is got a real shot at winning the 360 Knoxville Nationals. His dad, Terry, has won this thing 5 times. And, of course, Austin, his brother, won the preliminary race on Thursday night. Earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports, we spoke with Carson McCarl, and here's a little bit of that interview. You're going to be racing in the 360 Nationals coming up this weekend on Friday night, and that's just a couple of weeks coming off a huge win for you, $15,000 at that 360 shootout. How much does that raise your confidence heading into a big weekend up at Knoxville?
Oh yeah, any win anywhere is definitely a confidence boost. But that's a pretty big 360 race, and to be able to hold off Austin there at the end was definitely a big confidence boost. So I feel like we got a lot of speed in the 360 and the 410. So if we can get things to go our way, I think we can put on a good show for our people.
How confident are you that you're going to win that race?
The 360 Nationals are a couple weeks ago.
Either one. The 410. How about that one? Let's tackle that one.
The 410. When it comes to 410 Nationals, my goal is to just make the show. We've had some bad luck there the last few years, so if I could just put it in the Saturday night A main, I'd be really happy with that. And the 360, we definitely got a little higher expectations. I feel really confident in the 360 at Knoxville. That's kind of been my bread and butter over the years. So if we can have a nice, clean qualifying night and start up front on Saturday, I think we got a legitimate shot to win that thing. But as far as the 410 goes, if I could just not go Friday, I'd be pretty happy at this point.
You haven't raced the 360s all that many times this year, but when you have, you've finished pretty well. You got a first, a third, a sixth at Knoxville this year. Just what have been some of the big challenges of your 410? Let's go with that first, and we'll talk about this weekend with the 360. What's been the biggest challenge of getting your 410 running? Well, you did come up with a top 10 finish the other night.
Yeah, we've been consistent. We're fourth in points right now. We've been qualifying really good, and we've got a few top fives. And I think only once this year, outside Outlaw shows, we've ran out of the top 10. So I feel like we definitely got a lot of race speed in the 410, and we could definitely get qualified. So if we can get a good draw on on Wednesday for our prelim night, and lay down a decent lap, I think we'll be just fine. But the 410 deal, it's just really tough. There's, those top four guys, Austin, Brown, Carey, Timms, those guys are all, and even the guys behind me, those guys, everyone, there's a lot of money in the pit area at Knoxville. Everyone's got smoke. Everyone's got good equipment. And, those guys aren't afraid to put the hammer down. So it's just, I think Knoxville's got some of the toughest weekly competition in the country, and it's not easy to win there. So, I feel like we've definitely had speed, and, we can hang with those guys. So, I think, we've been close, to, we've led some laps, and I just feel like I've kind of gave a couple races in the 410 away this year. So hopefully we can make up for that with a strong Nationals run.
Kirk and I were up there at Knoxville this Saturday night, and Brown give Rico quite a run, didn't he?
Yeah, I actually haven't really watched the replay yet, but just watched the quick highlights, and looks like Brown just kind of chose wrong once he got to the lead. His words, not mine, and Rico was able to get around him, and those guys got serious speed, but I think we do too. We just gotta maybe get a little more aggressive and get up there and race with those guys, but. No, Brown and Rico and the rest of the Outlaw and High Limit guys will obviously all be in town. And there was a lot of High Limit guys there on Saturday, and along with McFadden and some others, and we were able to out-qualify a bunch of really good guys. And, during the feature was battling with Kerry Madsen pretty much the entire race. And so, to be able to hang with him, I think he's one of the best at Knoxville right now. So I think that shows that, we can kind of hang with anybody when it comes down to it.
Hey, speaking of Brown, he didn't, he qualified number one in the 360s, but then he parked the car, didn't race the 360 the rest of the night. How difficult is that when you're running both 360 and 410s on the same night?
Yeah, it's brutal. Earlier this year, when I ran sixth in the 360s, I was in the Alan and Kayleen Verveel's 01 car, and obviously with that deal, I just had to hop in and drive, so that wasn't too bad, but. I'm sure for Brown and the rest of these guys, even guys with, 3-4 crew guys, I don't have any full-time crew guys or anything like that. I just got a couple buddies that show up on Saturday nights and go hard for me. So bringing two cars is a lot of work. So I don't like to do double duty in my own stuff unless I have to.
Getting back to that big race that you won here a couple of weeks back, you were battling some pretty stiff comp. You had Tasker Phillips, you had Clint Garner, you had your brother out there racing. What happened in that little incident there with Clint Garner? You guys made contact there during that race.
Oh, yeah, about midway point through the race, I kind of found my line, bottom of 1 and 2, top of 3 and 4. And that's what I used to get by those guys. So that was just my plan. And, just went to the bottom on the start, and Clint got a big run on me. And, it's just a racing deal. I talked to the Garners on Saturday, and, we shook hands, no harm, no foul. We just it's unfortunate. I definitely I don't race like that. I keep saying, I'm not good enough to crash somebody without crashing myself. I'm definitely not trying to do any of that. So, it was an unfortunate deal. I was just going to the top of 3 and 4 and never saw him. And, we got together there and it ended his race and nearly ended ours. I was really nervous that, maybe we broke a shock or, I was really shocked I didn't get a flat right rear or anything. But luckily it all worked out. And, but then, we had the red 88, right on our bumper after that. And that was the last guy I wanted to see. Austin's one of the strongest drivers at Knoxville, 360 R410. So I knew he was going to be tough to beat. And we were able to go toe to toe with him and come out on top. So that's definitely a huge confidence booster, going into these big weekends.
Talk about the Capitani Classic. What do you think you got? What do you think the chances are of you winning that thing?
Oh, I don't know. That's a really tough race. It's both prelim nights in one. You got all 80 cars or 100 cars basically, and then you got Oskaloosa, the front row challenge. The Monday after, which we'll probably put a little bit more of our focus on. There's a lot of giveaways going on at the front row challenge, and a lot more opportunities to get some stuff and make some money on Monday than there is Sunday. Sunday for the amount of cars and how tough it is, it's not the greatest purse in the world. I mean, I'm not complaining. We're spoiled at Knoxville on a weekly basis for sure. But on Sunday, I just my plan is to bring the motor in the car. We plan on running at the Nationals and just kind of, obviously if we qualify good and, can put ourselves in a position to win, great. But if not, probably just take it easy and just make sure to bring it home in one piece and not do anything to, hurt our car or our chances on Wednesday.
All right, let's talk about Monday, the Front Row Challenge at the Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa. Your family been involved in this event for quite a number of years. This is always a popular event. It's more of a fun event for the fans too, isn't it? Talk about Monday night.
Oh yeah, Oski's such a great time. I'm sure you guys have been there before.
Yep.
The infield is always a great party. The slogan is "Come to a party and watch a race break out," and that's how it seems to be. So it seems to be a ton of fun for the fans. I haven't raced it the last couple of years, and always enjoy going up in the stands and throwing goodies and stuff to the kids and to the fans and watching everybody go crazy. And I think it's just a fan-friendly event. You can have a great time, drink some beer, and in the infield, and it's some great racing. There's always the top. Seems like the top 10, 12 guys in the country are always there. And last year Larson and Day put on a great show, and Macedo I know is coming back this year, and he's been close. He's won the 360 portion before, and he's been on the podium multiple times, and he's always really good in that foot race too. So I think the fans really enjoy that foot race. I know I do. I think it's hilarious. I think it's a good, a good promotion deal. My dad came up with that originally a long time ago as a giveaway, and then, a few years ago, after COVID, when there was a tire shortage and everything, he thought it'd be a cool, neat thing to do where guys didn't, have to worry about tearing up equipment or burning off any more tires or anything like that. And the fans seem to really get into it and really love it. So, my mom and dad, they got a lot of cool stuff planned for this year's, and a bunch of giveaways for the drivers, a bunch of giveaways for the fans. And, if you haven't got your tickets, get them now, because it's going to be a ton of fun. You're not going to want to miss it.
Of course, he's talking about Monday night, the Front Row Challenge at the Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa. Got the Capitani Classic at Knoxville tomorrow night. We got all this racing going on at Iowa Speedway up the road. When we come back, we're going to do a preview of tonight's 360 Nationals finale live with one of the announcers at Knoxville Raceway, Blake Walker, when we come back. More with Track Talk, Blake Walker of Knoxville Raceway, when we come back here on Track Talk, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different.
2.5 minutes here.
10-4.
Equipment moving. Rod Rod & Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodandsupply.com.
Hen House, your neighborhood market, always has great specials. Right now, check out these hot picks, good through August 10th. Classic beef tenderloin, only $13.99 a pound. You save $2 per pound. St. Louis-style pork ribs, sold whole in Cryovac, only $2.99 a pound. And Seabest Easy Peel raw shrimp, 16 ounces, 26 to 30 count, only $5.99 each. It's all right now at your Hen House market. Now 100% family owned. Go right now to henhouse.com for all these specials and more.
At B&B Theaters, enjoy it the way the movies are meant to be seen, on the big screen. The family-owned and operated movie theater company that operates a cinema not far from you with nearly a dozen across the KC Metro. Come see some of the big movies coming up like Jurassic Park Rebirth, Superman, The Fantastic Four, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and more. Our newest luxury entertainment complexes offer the latest in sound and comfort. Electric reclining seats, grand screens, marquee suites, screenplay, MX4D, full bars and restaurants, and more. B&B Theaters, the big screen is back.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Get ready for a new NFL season with the best coverage of Chiefs training camp. Right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Steven St. John, live at Chiefs training camp.
It's going good. Coming in at guard, things are a lot faster.
Yeah, he's working all three of those spots, and really both guards, so we need everybody.
Kansas City's radio home of the NFL, the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl 60, and the best Chiefs coverage all season long. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back. You're listening to Track Talk with the Racing Boys here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Final night of the 360 Knoxville Nationals is tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. We've already had 2 great nights of racing at Knoxville. Joining us now to help us handicap what we're going to see tonight is Blake Walker of the Knoxville Raceway. Great announcer up there. Blake, how you doing this morning?
Good. I'm doing well. It's an exciting day here at the sprint car capital of the world.
It is, and based on what we've seen the first 2 nights, well, I don't know what we're going to see tonight, but the racing has just been fabulous both nights, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been really good. I think a lot of the big differences here this week, the weather's been cooler, so the track's been a little bit different. I think the Duncans have done a great job with what track they've put out for us for the most part, and yeah, I think it's just been fun. It's been great 2 nights of racing, and I think it really showcases how strong and how competitive our 360s have been on a weekly basis and just how good Knoxville is when it comes to 360s.
Well, Rico has really found his way around Knoxville Raceway this year. What was that, his 4th win last night? He's won 3 in the 410 and 1 last night. He wants that big prize next Saturday night. Not necessarily tonight, but next Saturday night. That's the one he's really eyeing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, I tell you what, I think, if he were to get it done tonight, obviously it's a big deal for him. It'd be another accolade on his career. But I tell you what, Kurt, I really think he could be one that could win all 3 this week. I think he could obviously win tonight. I think he's no short of a full-on, he's going to be big tomorrow night for the Capitani Classic, and then obviously for the 410 Nationals. I mean, we always kept talking about, Larson could be the first one to win both in the same week, but Rico would love to have and be a part of that conversation, and then throw in the Cappy too. I mean, with how good they have been with Ricky Warner here this year, I mean, I would not put it past him. Rico has a chance to really make it big here this week.
Well, that battle he had with Ryan Timms last night, that was pretty epic stuff. I thought once Timms got back out in front of him, okay, that's it. Timms has got it now, but Rico just kept hammering away at it, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ryan Timms, he's still learning. He said that to us on Dirt Vision. He said, I still have a couple tendencies that I'm using from a midget. And he's like, I can be better, which is just crazy for how well he has improved this year. But, Yeah, I think Ryan learned a lot. He obviously seemed a little frustrated from last night, so I think he's got a little bit of a fire underneath of him starting fifth. But I think Rico just kind of outdueled him where he could, and we just didn't see lap traffic play that much of a factor like we did on Thursday night. But tonight with 30 laps, I mean, they're going to get deep into lap traffic if we don't have caution. So you're going to have to be on your A game.
And, we talked about all the races Rico's won up there. Ryan Timms has won a bunch of races up there in both 360 and 410, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's been very impressive. I mean, that Lee Big Ten, they won with Scott Boguski last year, so we knew it was fast, but, boy, they've just been on a different level. And same goes for Houston, and same goes for Jackson. I mean, he has just been on one. And even when he's gone out and raced with the Outlaws sometimes, even at the Kings Royal and whatnot, still ran good up there. So Ryan's confidence is high. The team's confidence is high. And, boy, they just got something figured out. He's definitely a dark horse for next week, that's for sure.
We just had Carson McCarl on here just a little bit ago. A huge win for him a couple of weeks ago, $15,000. He outdueled his brother to win that race. He's coming in. He had a pretty good run last night, coming from 8th to 5th. He's starting inside the second row tonight. Both Carson and Austin are ones to watch out for, and McCarl's got a lot of history here at the 360 Nationals with Terry McCarl winning this thing 5 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And the confidence for Carson, I think, is at an all-time high. I mean, our reaction to the booth yesterday when he was almost the second-to-last car to go out for qualifying and he went quick time, that tells you all you need to know. I mean, the car's a rocket ship, and I think, from the 360 shootout a couple weeks ago, I think he has got all the confidence in the world. I think he knows what's in front of him with Larson and Rico and Timms and whatnot all around him and PPM, but man, I tell you what, there's no one more experienced this year than him right there. So I like Carson's chances to make something running. And Austin's got a fast car. I mean, obviously we knew with the prelim night victory, he'd kind of be mid-pack, but he's made runs before in the 88, and that's a fast 360 that Austin's got as well.
All right, let's talk about that three-car battle we saw on Thursday night. Chase Randall jumped out to an early lead, and, boy, you had Austin McCarl, you had Kyle Larson going at it. Through lap traffic, that was pretty exciting stuff to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and that just proves, lap traffic. And, it was kind of deceiving. The bottom was still very good, but the problem was all the lap cars are on the bottom. That's just usually how it is. So if anyone dared go to the top, it was just kind of they were going to lose momentum. We saw James McFadden try it a little bit late, but I think experience really paid off there for Austin McCarl because Kyle Larson was right there, and Austin was able to hold him off. And I just love seeing even the best of the best just couldn't quite stick the bottom. Larson was slipping up. Chase Randall was slipping up. And Chase was pretty mad after the race. He just thought he could have gotten through lap traffic better. But I truly think if we don't have cautions tonight, I think lap traffic's probably going to be where you make the money.
And there is lap money on the line. As soon as $20,000 to win, but what a driver can win, an additional $15,000 in lap money if they lead the whole way?
Yeah, so it's $500 per lap led, so up to, I believe, almost $35,000 possibility. So someone could easily walk away with plus $50,000 if they lead every lap. We saw Aaron Reitzel do that a couple years ago in the fastest 360 Nationals ever. It only took 8 minutes for him to win the whole thing pretty much. But, yeah, I think that's something to think about for sure that, yes, Rico's on the front row. If he leads every lap, he's going to get over $50,000. But just anyone, I think a couple lead changes, you're going to walk home with extra money tonight.
I think Rico would probably be the first to tell you that just because he's on the pole doesn't mean he's just going to run away and hide. He knows how difficult this is to go out and win these races, doesn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And I think last night, he learned a lot. I think that last restart was huge. I mean, he timed it perfectly and took off from Timms, but he knows that Kyle Larson's going to be right there. And I think Parker Price Miller is going to be right there as well. I mean, that 71's been really good. He's got Clinton Boyles helping out on the car. Obviously, he was with Hunter Schoenberg before they kind of parted ways there a couple days ago. But Rico knows, yeah, for sure, that he's going to have a hungry group behind him. And sometimes you don't want to be the leader, so that way you're not seeing what's behind you.
All right, who do you see that might have a chance coming from the back half of the field, or maybe even as far back as the B main that might have a shot to make some hay tonight?
I think for A main-wise, guys kind of starting mid-pack near the rear, I think it's Giovanni Scelzi. I think Gio, if it wasn't for the power steering issue last night in the heat race, I mean, he was going to be top 5 starting. And obviously we saw how fast it was getting up through the field in the B and then able to get up through the A. I think Gio, he's racing with a fire. I think he just wants to perform well for that 7BC. That car won the 360 Nationals last year. Tyler Courtney won in that car in a 410 here earlier this season at Knoxville. I just think Gio will be the guy to watch coming up through mid-pack. He's won this race before. So I'm excited to see Giovanni Scelzi come up through it. And then in the B main, I mean, there's a lot of guys that stick out. I think Tasker Phillips kind of starting middle of the pack in the B. I think, you know, he didn't have the night that he wanted to last night. And I got to go with a local guy there to keep rolling. I think Tasker is going to be fun to watch to get up through. But I don't know. There's a lot. That B main is quite stacked. I mean, Kerry Madsen, Dason Pursley's on the front row. There's going to be a lot of movers. And that's an 18-lap feature. I don't think people fully realize, like, tonight's B main, you're basically getting two features in a way. I mean, 18 laps, that's a normal feature for our Randall Roofing 360 sprint cars on a weekly basis. So you're going to have to move, but you got time, and they're going to see lap traffic themselves.
And we haven't even talked about Brian Brown. He starts 16th tonight. He can make a run up through there, can he?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you remember, he came from 16th in a 410 just a couple weeks ago to win. So, I mean, he knows how to do it. It'd be 3 wins in the Knoxville Nationals for him for 360-wise, and it's going to be really fun. I mean, the first top eight guys in the starting lineup here for the A-Main, they've never won the 360 Nationals. You got to go back to 9th where James McFadden has won it before. Our last 10 winners here for the 360 Nationals, they're all different winners. So I would expect we're probably going to see 11 straight here tonight.
I would expect that for sure. Of course, Tyler Courtney, he won this race last year, and he's going to be laid up for the rest of the season after having back surgery. We miss him for certain. But, man, we've had just a bad rash of injuries, Blake, up there. The most recent, Ian Madsen, who was involved in that horrific crash in the B-Main in the 410s on Saturday night. What's the latest on Ian and how soon we might see him back behind the wheel of a race car?
Well, he put a video out the other day on social media. Obviously, I think you can still go and buy T-shirts from him, kind of help him out on the money situation. I think he was still in a neck brace from what the latest thing I saw. I think it's going to be a couple weeks. I think they're going to kind of take their time. Brooke Tatnall's going to be in that 2KS, which that's just an awesome feeling. I'm happy for Brooke. He put it in the show last night in his own 14T. But, I think, give it a couple weeks, kind of see what happens here. I don't know if we'll see him here the rest of the season at Knoxville at least, but that car is probably going to try to get around here in the Midwest still for a couple shows. And it's Ian Madsen. I think, he's worked so hard to get back in the car as it is. He's not going to want to be out for long. And, it's a scary wreck. I mean, I'm glad to see that he's okay. And if anyone's going to come back stronger, I think it's going to be Ian Madsen.
So tonight it's the alphabet soup, right? What do we got, 4 or 5 races? 4 races tonight?
Yeah, we got D-Main, C-Main, B-Main, and A-Main, yep.
And that's kind of the setup for next week's Knoxville Nationals, too. They earn points on the qualifying nights next week, Wednesday and Thursday. You got the Hard Knocks on Friday, and a week from tonight is the big show. It's going to be a packed house. Sold out again this year for next Saturday night, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it is so cool. We sold out. I think it was the earliest we've sold out here for a Saturday show. And I tell you what, the crowds for the 360 Nationals this week have been phenomenal. We were kind of worried. We didn't really know what it was going to do with the Iowa Speedway. I saw they had a great crowd for the ARCA race last night up in Newton, but boy, we've had great crowds, and I think people are going to stick around for sure. And it's just going to be bigger and better as this event just keeps growing every single year.
Yeah, I was amazed how well the Thursday night crowd was, and it was even more so last night. So that's how the growth of this 360 National. I remember when this thing started a long time ago that it wasn't even along with the Nationals when it first got started, and boy, how this event has grown through the years.
It's unbelievable. I mean, and next year we moved it back a week. I'm pretty sure everything kind of moved back for Nationals. I don't think we start till the 5th. I think that's kind of a courtesy for NASCAR because, I mean, we don't want to be on the same week, but, it's crazy. We got all these high-limit guys that came down for the 360 Nationals, and they chose this instead of Peevely. So, I mean, and the Ironman 55, it's an unbelievable event for sure. I just, they know that this event just keeps growing, and especially with Larson and Rico and Brad Sweet, choosing to come down here. We'll see if Brad stays for tonight. I bet he probably goes to Peevely, but, we'll just have to see what happens with Brad. But, I think people are realizing this is a great event, and why not just be here? It's better than traveling up from Missouri, and you're ready for the Cappy on Sunday. It's just very convenient for these guys.
Yeah, I didn't like the track down at Peevely last night. It was too bottom dominant last night. I like the track in Knoxville much better.
Yeah, I agree. I tuned in afterwards. I'm like, man, Carson and Donnie, and Donnie even said it in his post race. He's like, this is very weird to be running the bottom. I don't think it helped that the midgets ran beforehand, but I hope for their sake they get a better surface there for the Ironman 55 here tonight.
Capitani Classic, this thing has really grown into a big-time event. What are going to bet, 70, 80 cars for this thing? Almost everybody shows up for that thing, don't they?
Yeah, we had 82 last year. That was the record, 82 cars. I'm not sure what we'll get for Sunday. I think we'll be right there for sure. Obviously, a lot of the guys come up. There's a big race in Sharon Speedway here tonight on Saturday night, so I think if a couple guys, want to make the trek over from Ohio, which obviously they will, Brent Marks I know for sure, and a couple other guys, Danny Dietrich and whatnot, they might come over. It's just one good final tune-up, and I heard Carson talking about it with you guys. I mean, it's pretty much, it's 2 prelim features in a way worth of cars. I mean, that's, we only take 24. We don't take provisionals, 82 cars. So, I mean, you're looking at 60-plus that went home last year. It's a tough race. I mean, it's really the best of the best are going to get in, and it's a fun night. We do our qualifying dash where they put the 2 cars out on the racetrack and they race each other, kind of a King of the Hill style. It's an awesome night. This is our 13th annual. We've rained out once, thankfully, in 2023. The weather looks good, and Rico Abreu, I talked about it earlier, I think he's got a good chance to go back-to-back after winning it last year.
How big would that be for a driver who's never won both the 360? And nobody's won the 360s and the Knoxville Nationals together in the same time, right? That's never happened.
Yes, correct. The only people that win both in general, Sammy Swindell and Sammy Swindell, and then the other one skips my mind here. But, yeah, Sammy Swindell, I know for sure is one of them who have won both. So, it's definitely, it's a rare feat. And I the talk, like I said, it's been about Kyle Larson doing it, but I'm sure Rico probably thinks, well, I probably got a pretty good chance too.
Yeah, I think Danny Lasowski's won both events before.
Yes, there you go. That was who I'm looking for. It's still early in the morning here. I'm still waking up over here.
Nobody's won it in the same year. That would be huge. And we got 2 guys can do that. Rico and Kyle Larson are both guys can very easily do both. No question.
And I think they'd love to be the ones to do it. I mean, I think a lot of people go into tonight. I was talking to a lot of guys after the race, and they're like, it's going to be Larson versus Rico tonight. And that's the perfect scenario. Yeah. And I'm sure next week everybody would love to see it too, whether that be Larson or Rico or Larson and gravel. But, yeah, I think they'd love to. One of them would love to be the first one to do it, and what a feat it would be. And I bet if they do, more guys will try to come down and try to do the same thing.
Thank you, Blake, for joining us. Have a great call tonight. We'll be watching, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Kurt. Thanks for all you guys are doing. And if you're not here at the racetrack, make sure to come on down. I see you're going to the Xfinity race, so we look forward to seeing you after.
After the Xfinity race, I'm going to go down those gravel roads, and we'll be there for tonight's event. We'll be there.
Have fun, man.
Thanks,
we
Blake.
appreciate it.
All right. See you later. Blake Walker, who is a great announcer up there at Knoxville. And, man, it's going to be a busy time driving back and forth to all these races, Todd.
Be careful.
A lot going on.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
If you guys are all in, because it sounds like there's going to be a lot of traffic up there in Iowa on some of those back roads. So,
well, doesn't Kyle Larson have to go down the same gravel roads as I do?
I was getting unless he's
got a helicopter.
Unless he's
somewhere.
Booking a helicopter, then he's probably going to be passing you on the road. He'll probably be passing you, Kirk. He'll zip right on by you. But yeah, it's going to be busy up there, and that's in your neck of the woods, and then you're real close to your house too. So
yeah. Cup Series practice qualifying, I think it's around 12:30 today.
Yeah, during the day.
The Xfinity race starting at 3:30. Then we'll head to Knoxville. We got the 360 Nationals tonight. Back up to Newton tomorrow for the Cup race that starts at 2:30. The Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol, and then tomorrow night the Capitani Classic. So that's a lot going on in one weekend. A lot going on,
and then our Mostly Motorsports podcast Monday might be up a little bit later because Kirk's going to be getting interviews. We're going to try to do this interview, the whole podcast from
we'll
up at
posted Tuesday at the latest.
Yeah. So just know that we're going to have some pretty good interviews because Kirk's going to be doing a lot of this podcast from right from Knoxville. So, like you said, there's no reason for him to come back and try to get a hold of some drivers while they're already up there. So you might as well just stay up there and try to round them up there. So
we'll get that posted on our podcast section.
Kirk will get those interviews. I'll post that. That'll be up. That'll be episode 371, mostly motorsports. So.
I'll be hanging out with Scott tonight watching the races from the Hall of Fame. And so it's going to be great. You know, the best part about it, the weather has cooperated like you can't believe. It's cooled off and no threat of rain. So it's
perfect tonight, guys.
Can't ask for more than that. Todd, thanks for all your help. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Dylan Brett back at Sports Radio 810. Thanks for
Dylan.
your great work back there. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday morning for another edition of Track Talk. Hour 2 exclusively on RacingBoys.com, our Facebook and YouTube pages, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend out there, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
It's
Thanks for man. Appreciate it, guys.
Direct Hot Tub Sale. We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our new selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. It's nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will. Maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, And then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king-size bedroom with washer-dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me, Kyle Walker.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guide. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Thank you for joining us here on Track Talk. I'm Kirk Elliott in the Racing Boys studio. Scott Traylor will be joining us a little bit later on in the hour. We got a lot of interviews to get to, including Bill Wright of Knoxville Raceway is going to talk to us about everything going on at Knoxville and elsewhere. We've got part two of Carson McCarl coming up, and we've got a little sound from his brother Austin McCarl, too. We got that interview we're going to play. And Bob Baker is going to be joining us, the director of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, give us an update on the schedule of activities that is going to be going on during the Nationals this next week. There's just loads of activity that's going on inside the museum from Wednesday through Saturday. So Bob will give us an update. Is he joining us right now?
Yeah, we got him on if you need.
We've got Bob Baker joining us right now. Bob, thanks for joining us here this morning. This is the reason why I had to come to Kansas City to do the show, Bob, to get through all of the technical issues that we've got to make sure we get on the air. Appreciate you joining us here this morning.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us on. The weather is picture perfect up here in Knoxville this morning.
If not for the Canadian smoke, it'd be perfect, right?
There's not a lot of it up here this morning. There's a little bit of a haze, but nothing like we had a couple of days ago. It was really thick like fog 2 days ago up here.
So you think we finally got that cleared out of there? Man, the weather just, it has cooperated, and there's no threat of rain for the next week. I love that.
Yep. The weather is low humidity and low temperatures, and everybody's thinking that we said the right prayers or something last week because everybody's having a great time.
All right, let's talk about everything going on up at the museum. You sent me a schedule of activities that will be going on beginning next Wednesday. It's just nonstop inside the Hall of Fame. Let's kind of go through some of that, of what people are going to expect when they come to Knoxville for the 410 Nationals this week.
Well, I tell you what, we have fanfare forums every day, and if you've never been here, that's where we have distinguished MCs such as Dave Argerbright, people that are well-known within the industry, interviewing drivers, owners, builders, mechanics, and people involved in sprint car racing. We have those going on every day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We have autograph sessions, which Shane Carson, one of our National Sprint Car Hall of Fame inductees, has set up for us with the drivers that are racing here in Knoxville for the Nationals. And those, I believe, are at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock each day in our museum in the Bob Trossel Garage back on the East End. And then one of our biggest events is Saturday. We have our Nationals auction, and you may or may not have seen some of the things on the internet and everything that are coming this way, but we have a life-size illuminated Rico Abreu that is drawing a lot of attention right now. And
wow.
Then Rico just came out with a memory box that he's real excited about. That's got some of his family's wine in there and one of his new die-cast cars and a wine bottle opener in it. And so Rico's going to be here with us to start the auction at 11:30 on Saturday. So that'll be a lot of fun up on our second floor here at the museum. So in addition to those events for the Nationals, we do have our track tribute to Manzanita Speedway in the museum with 8 of the race cars that raced at Manzanita and Phoenix back in the day when the track was still in operation. So that's getting a lot of attention. People are enjoying watching the videos of the cars racing, Jesse Hockett's car and some of the other cars, Ron Schumann's car, Damon Garner's car that raced out west. So good representation of California and Arizona race cars in the museum right now.
And there's a lot of other additional stuff that I remember walking through there here the other day, that there's things in there that weren't in there a year ago, aside from the Manzanita Speedway Salute.
Oh, absolutely. The Manzanita exhibit runs through October 1st, but we do have also, we always have about 30 to 35 race cars on display. And we'll just mention a couple of them. We've got 2 of Johnny Rutherford's USAC sprint cars in the museum from back in the day when he and A.J. Foyt and Mario Andretti raced these cars, and they're immaculate. I mean, they're restored to perfection, and they're not recreations. These are the real race cars that Johnny sat in, along with the boots that Johnny wore when he drove the race cars and his actual driving helmet, and lots of memorabilia that Johnny Rutherford has loaned us from his personal collection. He was here a few weeks back for our induction banquet, and Johnny just really enjoyed seeing the race cars in the museum and talking with people about, racing those cars back in the day. And we've got something that's a little bit of an anomaly. It's an all-aluminum chassis and cage sprint car that was brought to Knoxville years ago with Shane Carson, and Shane was getting ready to jump in the car, and they said, "You're not racing that at Knoxville, buddy." He said, "Why not?" And they said, "Well, that's an aluminum car. If you crash, you're going to die." And he said, "There's nothing in the rules about it." And they said, "Well, there is now. You can't race it." So that was a quick night at the racetrack in Knoxville for Shane. But we've got the car here. It's a Nance car that Laverne built, and Shane tried to race a couple times. It was able to race a few times back east in Ohio before they caught it and realized what was going on and how unsafe the car is. But that's drawing quite a bit of attention also. So lots of good exhibits in the museum right now.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of getting old, Bob, is when I'm walking through the museum. Oh, yeah, I remember that car going around the racetrack. Is that a sign of getting old?
I don't know if it's a sign of getting older or it's a sign that we remember stuff from when we were younger better now than what happened yesterday. I remember a lot of the cars that raced in Kansas City at Lakeside and, Riverside and Olympic Stadium and I-70 back in the day. And some of those cars, make it through the museum for a little bit of time. A lot of people think that the cars that are in the museum stay in the museum all the time and they're always the same cars, but we keep the cars rotated. Bill Wright does an excellent job moving the cars in and out of the museum, so we always have new and exciting cars on display for people to come and see. So you never know what you're going to see here. And about a year ago, a guy came and said, I was looking for this car in the museum, and it's not there. Where did it go? And I said, well, I went back to the guy that owns it. We only have the cars on display usually for about 6 months to a year. So it's constantly changing. It's kind of like a movie theater. You don't want to see the same movie every time you go back. So Bill does a great job of keeping the cars rotated and new cars coming in all the time.
Bill Wright's going to tell us more about that. We got an interview. We did an interview with him on Mostly Motorsports earlier this week, and we'll replay that a little bit later on about some of the cars that they've rotated in and out. So we'll hear from Bill about that. Hey, I want to talk to you about the Corvette giveaway. We're almost days away from the deadline for the brand new Corvette.
We are just days away. The last day you can purchase tickets to win the new Corvette is the 10th, Sunday, August the 10th. That's the last day to purchase tickets, and tickets are selling at a really good pace right now for our museum. It's a brand new 2025 ZR1 Corvette. It's got the ZTK Performance Package, and it comes with $30,000 cash to help you pay for the taxes. So someone's going to win a new Corvette here in about 10 days, and a couple of weeks after that, we're hoping to start another Corvette sweepstakes. So keep things rolling here, along with our sprint car sweepstakes that we have going on for the brand new J&J chassis with the Don Ott 410 engine that was just revealed at the Brad Doty Classic a few weeks ago. So we've got a lot going on with as far as fundraisers for the museum, the 2 sweepstakes for the Corvette and the sprint car, and then also our big auction coming up this Saturday at 11:30 up on the museum's second floor. So it takes a lot of money to keep a lot of people don't realize we've got 6 buildings here now. And it really is a lot to keep them all going, but everybody here does a great job keeping things nice and clean and everything in good working order.
Hey, the sprint car giveaway is in December 2026, right? Not this December,
yes.
But a year from.
Yes, we give away a brand new sprint car every other year.
Yeah.
And so this will be the 16th sprint car the Hall of Fame is given away. So the program, when we give the car away next December of 26, it will mark 32 years that we've had the sprint car giveaway to help fund the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. I might mention it couldn't be possible without all of the builders and manufacturers and parts assemblers that make everything possible and donate the parts, and also donate the completion of the car, the labor, putting everything together, the assembly of the engine, dynoing the engine. The man that won our last sweepstakes sprint car picked it up, and he was given the dyno sheets, the fuel sheets. He said, I never get this much when I pay for a race car engine. So you get everything you need to go racing. And he was very happy. Picked it up. He came from Texas and taking it back down to Vitor, Texas.
Now, it's winacorvette.org to get registered for the Corvette. How do they get registered for the sprint car?
The sprint car, you just go to winasprintcar.com,
okay.
winasprintcar.com, and it just walks you through everything right there, how to enter, and thank everybody that does enter our sweepstakes to help fund the museum, because without your donations, this could not be possible. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and I think people forget that a lot of the times, that it's solely dependent upon the donations, people making purchases on our museum store and coming to visit us for admissions, the supporting memberships and the sweepstakes that keep our doors open and allow us to insure everything we've got here. A lot of people don't know this. It's not general information, but a lot of car museums or racing museums do not carry insurance on the vehicles and the contents of their museum, and we have everything here that we have in the museum. The cars, everything is fully insured, and that's a big thing for people that loan us their cars, because they want to know that their cars are being insured while they're with us.
I'll tell you a great story about that insurance on museums. We took a tour of the Speedy Bills Museum out in Lincoln, Nebraska one time, and Bill Smith took us on a personal tour, and we were looking out the back window of the museum up on the, I think the floor where they had those little the kiddie cars,
carousel.
That's
a carousel,
that's it.
And then they had one with the little midget cars on it that you could drive.
Well, anyway, we're looking out the window. He said, "That's where the tornado came through." And I said, "Well, is this all insured?" And he looked at me and he just shook his head. No, none of it's insured.
Oh, I didn't know that. But
he said,
I know
none
there
of
are
it's
lots of
insured.
museums and people call us, and that's one of the first questions before they loan us their race cars, because they've spent a lot of time and money restoring the original race cars that we used to watch growing up. And they ask us, "Is your museum insured?" And I say yes, and I can provide them with a certificate of insurance. And that makes their mind a lot easier about loaning us the race cars.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that answer too from him, but I got it right from the horse. He said, "Nope, none of it was insured." I don't know if that was then or at the time that he was talking about, but I took it to mean it was never insured. So, anyway, that's.
I honestly don't know the answer to that, but I know Bill walked myself through there years ago, and was describing everything, and he told me everything in the museum was a purchase that he made himself with the seller of the item. There was no middleman, he said. So he was very proud of that he was involved with the purchase of everything that's in his museum and paid for it himself.
He was one of a kind, wasn't he? Speedy Bill Smith.
He sure was, and he knew lots of great racing stories around the Kansas City area, Lincoln, Nebraska, and, of course, across the country, traveling with Jan Opperman and the different drivers, Doug Wolfgang, that raced his race cars. He had a wealth of information, so if you ever get a chance to read his book, that's a great read. Dave Argerbright wrote a great book about Bill Smith.
You got that book, I'm sure, for sale in the gift shop, do you? That is a great book.
You mentioned that book, and we, believe it or not, we sell more books in our museum store than any other item. We sell more books than we sell T-shirts or jewelry or anything. Books outsells diecast cars, everything that we sell here. The books are our number one seller, and we're very fortunate that Dave Argerbright, is one of the best authors and a great inductee and a great friend of our museum. And he's just about ready to come out with his new Steve Kinzer book. We thought he'd have it by Nationals next week, but he says he's got a problem with the publisher, so it's probably going to be, sometime next month before the Steve Kinzer book is released.
That'll be one. He's the greatest motorsports author there is anywhere, Dave Argerbright. What a great author he is.
I agree with you. I'll tell you a quick story. He went over to our archive building back when he was working on the Steve Kinzer book and got a lot of the numbers on how many feature wins Steve Kinzer had and all the details on everything on Steve. And then when he thought he was done, he came in, he said, "You wouldn't by any chance," you know how soft-spoken Dave is, "you wouldn't by any chance have any pictures of Steve Kinzer, would you?" And Bill Wright said, "I think we've got about 4,300 Steve Kinzer pictures."
Wow.
And Dave said, "Well, I might as well just sit down and look at them and see which ones I can use in my book." And I think he picked out a handful of great pictures from our archive building.
20-time World of Outlaws champion, 12-time Knoxville Nationals champion, Steve Kinzer. He still hangs around the racetrack every now and then, does he not?
Yeah, Steve comes to the Knoxville Nationals every year and hangs out with us, and, it's just great to have around, and always got some good stories. So it's great to have Steve here, and you see all 12 of those plaques on our Knoxville Nationals Wall of Champions out in front of the museum, and Steve's got 12 of those, and that's a feat I don't know if anybody will ever be able to match or beat, but it sure is nice that, you and I and people our age were able to see Steve Kinzer win those 12 Knoxville Nationals in our lifetime. We saw some great racing.
One thing, you sent over a list of all of the activities that's going to be going on over at the Hall of Fame beginning on Wednesday. And one of the events that you've got is one I'm not going to miss. On Thursday at 10 a.m., you got a history of Knoxville Raceway announcers. Judd Nelson, he's related to Skip. Is that Skip's son?
No.
Who is Judd? Judd Nelson.
Judd is a pastor at the church across the street from our museum.
Okay.
And also one of the Marion County Fair Board members.
Gotcha. I didn't know if he's any relation to the old Skip Nelson who used to announce at Knoxville Raceway or not.
That I don't know. I do not know that. But one event we did not mention was our members-only VIP reception that is going to feature two-time World of Outlaw champion Jason Myers, and that's going to be Thursday at 11 o'clock with Dave Argerbright on our second floor.
Who knows? Jason Myers might have the winner of the Knoxville Nationals. If Corey Day, the way he ran up there in June, it might be Jason Myers might be the winner of the car that wins the Knoxville Nationals this year. That could happen, couldn't it?
Well, it could, and he's also partners with Tommy Charlton, and they've got McFadden driving one of their other cars. So he's got a couple of entries there.
Yeah, for sure. And Spencer Baston is driving the other car as well. So Jason Myers is going to be very busy. He's very busy still, even though he's not driving a race car right now. Any other thing that we need to get out there for the folks heading up to Knoxville?
We just want to let people know that there's plenty of tickets for the races tonight and in our Capitani Classic Sunday night tomorrow night. Next week, there's still plenty of tickets for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but Saturday is sold out. The grandstands are sold out. So if you're planning on coming, come very early because they have a limited number of infield pit passes that they'll sell until probably 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and they'll cut that off once they reach their limit on pit passes. But the grandstands are sold out. It's the earliest in the history of the event that the grandstand has sold out so early. It was last week when it sold out, and the fair board and everybody around the racetrack is pretty much walking on clouds right now. They're so excited to have a great sellout crowd for about the 4th year in a row, and have it on Dirt Vision so everybody that's not able to make it can watch it at home.
Man, the crowds the last 2 nights, Bob, have been fabulous. Last night, Thursday night, was a great crowd up there, wasn't it?
You know, I've been here 17 years, and the crowds on Thursday night and last night for the 360 Nationals, I'd say they were between 25 and 30% greater than they were last year. And I think part of that is because of the great weather. I mean, the weather's just been phenomenal. It's low humidity, low temperatures, a slight breeze. It's just nice to sit outside and watch the races. And the other thing is, with 2 major touring series right now, there are a lot of race cars, both 360s and 410s in the country. So sprint car racing is very healthy right now, and it's great to see over 100 race cars entered for both the 360 Nationals and the Knoxville Nationals next week.
And the track has been terrific. The race in the last couple of nights, Bob, it's been, you can't ask for better than what we've seen.
We've been so fortunate that Chris Duncan and all the Duncan family do such a great job preparing the racetrack. They're out there early in the morning before I get here at 8 o'clock working on the racetrack, and as soon as that feature race is over, they're back on the graders getting it ready for the next night's racing. So Knoxville and all of us are so fortunate to have the Duncan family and Chris, doing the dirt work and maintenance on our dirt here at Knoxville.
Hey, I want to throw this out here. I don't normally promote shows from other people, but I'll do this one. Chris Duncan was a guest on Jeremy Elliott's show here about a week ago, The Deep Dive. Go watch that. You'll get a real insight of what it takes to prepare a racetrack. Chris Duncan was great on that show. I think he was on there for over an hour. Did you watch that, Bob?
No, I have not seen that. We have been just covered up here with the races. We got 8 nights of races in 10 days, so we just got our noses to the bookwork and the people and just trying to take care of everything here. So I've not seen that yet, but I hope to see it here as soon as the Knoxville Nationals are over after next week.
The thing that really struck me is just how humble a guy Chris Duncan is. His dad was pretty much the same way, too, wasn't he?
His dad I didn't know. I knew his grandfather just a little bit, but they've all been just really easygoing people, easy to talk with.
Yeah.
And before he built the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower, I'll confide in you, one of the first people I talked to was Chris Duncan, because, that's where they used to fill the water truck up with water back there. The spigot for the water truck to water the racetrack was right exactly where the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower is sitting. And I said to Chris Duncan, I said, what do you think if we built a building here and tried to work around, where you fill up the water trucks? He goes, I think a building would fit in here. I think that'd be pretty cool. And so it was actually the fair board that suggested moving the water pipes and everything, the fill-up lines, into the infield there, just inside of Turn 2. Chris was very supportive from day one with our expansion program, both with the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower and also with the Dennis Albaugh Sweet Tower. And that's important because Chris Duncan is a very important part of Knoxville Raceway and the smooth surface and the great racing that we get to see every race night here. And if it wasn't for the hours that him and his family and friends put in, making sure that track is smooth with no holes in it and just 3 lines of racing. You got a top, a bottom, and by the middle of the feature, you got a middle. So just unbelievable track surface that Chris prepares for us. And he goes across the country and helps other racetracks prepare their racetrack. And I think the latest one he's working on with David Abreu, he's going to help Tony Stewart at Eldora with that water problem they got up there at the top of Turn 1. So they're going to work on that in the off season, I think. But Chris is a great asset to Knoxville Raceway and to our sport.
Yeah, I just love his humility. He says, do you think you got it all figured out? Oh, no, everything changes. Once you think you got it all figured out, you're behind the 8 ball. Everything changes, he said. We change our approach based on a lot of things. So that kind of humility is really what it takes in that kind of work, doesn't it?
It really is, and he is so smart to realize that, the weather changes, the barometric pressure changes, the humidity changes, there's changes going on with the weather. There's changes going on with the dirt, and how he prepares it and how much water he puts on it and how he grades it and how he sheepsfoots it and gets it prepared. And he just doesn't sit and, watch the races once the races start. He's at the top of the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower, checking out all the turns and making sure, there's at least 2 or more grooves for the guys to race in. And if there is a tough spot, he's probably the first one calling John McCoy saying, hey, we need to take a little break here so I can get the grader up there at the top of turn 4 and knock that berm down so guys can race a little more. He wants to put on a good show for everybody that's in the grandstand. So he's not just looking out for the racers. He's looking out for all of his race fans that they want to see a good competitive race at the end of the night.
Hey, Bob, thanks so much for all you do. We appreciate you having us up there watching the races this week. Sorry we couldn't get our equipment to work there this morning, but we appreciate you jumping on here. We'll look forward to seeing you back up there tonight.
Thank you guys so much for having us on the show, and we'll see everybody in Knoxville either this week or next week for the Knoxville Nationals.
Thank you, Bob. Bob
Thanks,
Baker,
Kurt.
Director of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. A lot of things going on up there. So which one of these interviews should we go first here, Todd?
Well, we've got a second.
Bill Wright?
Might as well do one more, Bill. I've got a second part of Carson McCarl as well. I mean, we can do whatever you want to do. I mean,
let's go with Bill Wright,
Okay.
since we've not heard from him, talking about not necessarily the Hall of Fame because we just talked
to
Bob, but a little bit about everything that's going on up at Knoxville.
Yeah,
How about that?
Yeah, we can run that.
So Bill W. Writes all the press releases and stories for the Knoxville Raceway, and he covers the Sprint Invaders too. Does a little bit of announcing on the side. He was up at Bloomfield the other night watching Josh Schneiderman win that race last Monday night. While he was on his way to Bloomfield, we spoke with Bill Wright, and we're talking more Knoxville Raceway. So let's hear from Bill Wright. All right, let's talk about what's going on the racetrack. We were up there the other night, saw Rico win. Man, he's, I think, in my mind, the favorite to win the Nationals. He's run so well at Knoxville this year. And also Tasker Phillips winning the 360. What did you think of the races the other night?
Well, Rico practiced the night before and win a 14.265, which is about a tenth of a second lower than the track record set by Brian Brown. So I knew he was fast coming in. And the combination with Ricky Warner, especially at Knoxville, has really been evident. And Rico has won 3 times at Knoxville this year, 2 weekly shows now, as well as the Outlaw show in April. So, yeah, he's really been hot. And he's entered in the 360 Nationals, as are a bunch of the high limit drivers, to be honest with you. And so that should make it very interesting.
Hey, that race between Rico and Brian Brown was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was. It only took one bobble by Brian, and Rico really took advantage of that. And, that was all it took. Brian was able to get by him, was able to pass him. Of course, Brian was the last time he'd run at Knoxville on a weekly basis, he had come from back in row 7 and won. So, Brian's been the fastest weekly driver there for sure in the last month. So for Rico to get back by him, like you said, Rico's going really well right now.
And Brownie's got to be feeling really good after that great finish he had at the Kings Royal at Eldora. He's got to come in here thinking, hey, I can battle these guys now. I can still do it.
Yeah, Brian, he should always have confidence. He doesn't always have confidence, but he should always have confidence when he races at Knoxville. There's sometimes when mentally he might not be in the best place, but he needs to be positive every time he comes in because he is a favorite every time out here.
You got to qualify well at this thing, don't you? I mean, at the Nationals, especially the 410 Nationals, well, the 362. I mean, you really got to get a good qualifying lap to do well.
Yep, absolutely. Qualifying's the deal, and you talk about the mental part of it. Some of the guys they get or gals they get out psyched because of what the number they draw for qualifying. But when you go look at it afterwards, like last year, Giovanni Scelzi, he was way back on the back row as far as qualifying goes, and he was the high point guy for the night. So, you can't psych yourself out if you don't draw well, and I just see that happen too often at the Nationals.
is if you don't draw well, guys are mentally taking themselves out of it. And I think the mental part of it is the biggest part of it, to be honest with you.
Gio finished second in the Nationals last year. How surprised were you when he decided to walk away from KCP 18 car?
I was really surprised. I didn't have any insight into that. I don't think many people did. I know his car owner was surprised by it. And I know they have a good relationship, and I believe they still do. So, yeah, it was a big shocker. And, you know, it took Matt Barbara, the owner, some time to find a driver in Emerson Axum. And, you know, just watching him last night, I can see he's starting to pick up things. And then, of course, Gio Scelzi has won the 360 Nationals before. And as you mentioned, Tyler Courtney won it last year in the 7BC, and Gio will be in the 7BC. So I think we have to keep an eye on him this week for sure.
Talk about Tasker Phillips a little bit.
Well, Tasker's had an outstanding year, not only at Knoxville, but also with the Sprint Invaders series that I announced their shows around the state here. And Tasker's just done a tremendous job. Of course, won the feature last Saturday night and won earlier this year at Knoxville and clinched the 360-point championship already with, you know, they have the season championship yet to go, but he has a big enough lead that he already clinched it. So Tasker's really been going this three-way motorsports team, this one Taz team. It's his second year in that car, and they just seem to get faster every time out. And his brother Sawyer was really fast. It was on Thursday night at Webster City. He won $4,000 in the 3P car. Sawyer Phillips did. He beat his brother Tasker. He beat Terry McCarl and Chris Martin and some other drivers that were up there. So that's a half mile as well. So I would keep an eye on Sawyer too, even though last Saturday night he didn't even race the 360.
You're going to be racing tonight, right? Bloomfield, is that still on for tonight, Sprint Invaders?
Yep, I'm heading down to Bloomfield, expecting a good group of cars. Again, it's $4,000 to win for the Sprint Invaders, the 360s, and Jeff Brogue and I will be announcing down there. And just looking forward to see who might show up, you know, that's in town already for the 360 Nationals. And, you know, the weather right now looks good, so we'll hope it stays that way. If it doesn't, there is a rain date for tomorrow night, too, that they put in. But I think we're good for tonight by the looks of it.
I like that racetrack. I was there for the first time a couple of weeks ago. My nephew was racing in a stock car there. I was very impressed with that racetrack at Bloomfield, Iowa. They had a county fair going. That's one of the great county fairs that I've ever been to. That's a pretty neat place down there at Bloomfield, isn't it?
Yeah, the Davis County Fair is a pretty good one as far as the county fairs go around here. I was up at the Hamilton County Fair, too, with that 360 show I was telling you about up at Webster City, and that was a good one, too. But, my wife and I kind of judge them by the food and if they have bingo or not. We like to play the bingo.
Oh, they had bingo at Bloomfield. I can attest to that. Yeah. They love their bingo there.
Yeah, they do have bingo. My wife and I have played their Davis County bingo for sure. So I think the fair's over, unfortunately, so it's just racing tonight.
Yeah, that's a great facility. What is that, about a 3/8? That's a pretty good size racetrack.
I'd say it's a 3/8. It's probably got about an 8-degree banking on it, probably about like what Knoxville has, but it always yields some pretty entertaining action for the sprint cars. You know, it's seldom one where you don't see a good race. So, and which is surprising because they don't race every week there, you know, but you know, they get the right people in there prepping the track. I know Dan Hutchings is down there. He does a good job prepping the track. So he knows what he's doing as far as sprint cars go, if you know what I mean. You know, if you go to some stock car tracks, they don't put quite as much moisture in the track, and sometimes that's not good for the sprint cars and their tire builds at the end of the night. But usually they know what they're doing down there at Bloomfield.
All right, how would you handicap the 360 Nationals coming up? It opens up Thursday night. You got split fields Thursday and Friday. How do you see things turning out for the 360 Nationals this way? It's about as star-studded a field as we've ever seen.
Well, it is, and you know, I think something we need to remember is 360s are a lot different than 410s. So, you know, we've seen Kyle Larson at the 360 Nationals, and we've seen Rico at the 360 Nationals, and they weren't in contention, you know, and people don't understand that, but they're different animals. At Knoxville, the 360 is really a momentum car. So, you know, you have to keep that momentum up and those types of things. So I would say it yields to experience. Would I be surprised if one of those guys won? Absolutely not. But we saw Brian Brown the other night. He went out, set quick time. That was enough for him. That's all he wanted to prove as far as the 360 went. And he put it in the trailer after that to concentrate on the 410s. So, it's gonna go to experience it. It usually always does, as far as that goes. And James McFadden's won this thing before, and he's entered in the Tarleton car. I think he's going to be really strong. We mentioned Gio in the 7BC car. This is their maiden voyage. They didn't race any of the outlaw shows out east together. So, if they're running this 360 Nationals, it'll be their first time together. And that's it. Sometimes it takes a while to gel. So you never know there. And you mentioned Tasker Phillips. He's been really strong at Knoxville. He's not always on top of the qualifying charts, though. And as you mentioned, that's really important to do. The most important thing during the week is getting through your heat race. If you qualify well in the 360 Nationals, you're going to start sixth, and you got to make the top four to go to the feature. Otherwise, you're going to have to start at the back of it if you get through the B. And points-wise, that can kill you. So those heat races, both the 360 and 410s, are the most important races of the week.
What do you think about Brian Brown scratching from the 360s the other night?
After he qualified. That was planned, wasn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I didn't talk to him, but I'm sure he just wanted to make sure the car had speed and that sort of thing. And it's a lot for a crew to do double duty. If you don't have two crews doing it, which he does not, it's really tough to go back and forth. And if your priority is the 410, that's what he wanted to do. And I think it was enough for him to go out and see that the car had speed for this week.
Sam Hafertepe Jr. has he's tied the longest winning streak of the ASCS now. He's got 5 straight wins. Boy, that would be a big win for Sam if he were able to pull off a 360 Nationals. What do you think about his chances?
Sam's always good here. He's won several preliminary nights, and he's always good here, and he's going to be up there towards the front. One thing different about this year for him is he's been here on a couple occasions, but, not in the 360. It's been in the 410 action. So I don't think that's going to affect him much. I think he'll be up there towards the front. And, it's going to be, if he's won 5 in a row, the 6th one will be the hardest for him.
What do you think about Blake Hahn's chances of winning the 360 Nationals?
Well, Blake's another strong one. I think, in talking to him over the years, he's struggled in Knoxville at times. He's gotten better every time out, but I remember he was like a fish out of water the first time he came.
Right.
Knoxville's just a different track from what he was used to. And Blake, he can put it on him anywhere. But he'd be the first one to admit, Knoxville is not his strength, but, it wouldn't surprise me to see him do well.
And I think he's going to race the 410 Nationals, too, so we'll look forward to seeing Blake again.
Absolutely, yep.
That's right. So, Capitani Classic, that's always a big night of racing on Sunday night. Man, we get a boatload of cars in for that event on a pretty typical basis, don't we?
Yeah, we usually get between 60 and 80 cars. Arguably the toughest one-night racing that there is in the country. It's tough. Our regulars, they're still racing for points. They do get a 200-point minimum, which means, if they bomb against the other ones, at least they have, those 200 points headed out of the night. So, but, it's really, really tough. It's the last chance, to really tune it up. And for the World of Outlaws guys, they don't get a chance to tune up other than that night before the Nationals come. The high limit guys, some of them took a crack last Saturday. Some of them will be in a 360 and see the track conditions here. But for the World of Outlaws guys coming in, that's their last shot at it.
Anything else that we need to update people on, do you think, that need to know, either from the museum or the racetrack in general? What do we forgot to talk about?
Well, there's lots going on, so I'd pay attention to to the social media for both the track and the museum. From the museum side, I don't know if you've seen our new sweepstakes car, but it's beautiful. It was built by J&J, and Don Ott's doing the 410. The Don Ott Racing Engines is doing the 410. So winasprintcar.com. Go over there and see that car. It's beautiful. It'd be the cheapest sprint car you ever bought for $25 for tickets. And then, of course, we have the Corvette that we're giving away here in August. And you want to just visit those sites, and that really helps us out at the Hall of Fame. Helps us keep open all year round. And of course, right now we got a new payment to make on that new tower that's gone up.
The Dennis Holboss Sweet Tower. That thing's been a big hit, hasn't it?
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful, and we're fundraising for it. People thought that Dennis might have put all the money down for it, but that was not the case. We got a pretty good big mortgage that we're paying on that deal. So he did help us out a lot, but we still got a big nut to crack here. So if you're up for buying tickets for Corvette or the sprint car, that'd be an awesome way to help us.
There he is, Bill Wright, Knoxville Raceway. We appreciate him coming on the air, and the thing I love about Bill Wright the most, he's a fellow Cyclone fan, Todd.
Yeah, when I
he
looked
likes
at
the Cyclones.
So when I make up my graphics, I have to do a search, and I usually go to their Facebook page because that's kind of easy way to find a pit. And I saw it said Iowa State, and I thought, well, there you go. That's a reason why Kirk Elliott was able to strike up such a good conversation with him there.
Well, I strike up good conversations even with Hawkeye. Blake Anderson, he's a Hawkeye fan.
Yeah.
He's still a good buddy. So
still a good guy.
I still like him.
He's Iowa.
Let's talk with Austin McCarl, another Iowan.
How about
that? He won the Thursday night feature at Knoxville Raceway, holding off the likes of Kyle Larson. And here is Austin McCarl from Thursday night after the races. Congratulations on the win. Went from start to finish without any yellow flags. Or what was the biggest challenge getting around Chase?
Just getting through lap traffic, really, just trying to pick and choose your spots and what they were going to do in front of you, and really trying to decide if it was worth maybe following a lap car down on the bottom or trying to run through the middle or try and get your board open and cleaner around the top. So it was just really kind of a high-speed chess match, as my dad would say, throughout that whole thing, which made it awesome. Traffic is what sprint car racing is all about, and it makes things hairy and really puts it in the driver's hands, and you got to have a really good car. And I had a really good car tonight, and I'm just glad it all worked out our way. And traffic was nice to me at times and not so nice to me at other times. So it's good, especially when you're on the podium with James McFadden and Kyle Larson. It's a good night.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to grab the lead in a pretty exciting battle, but you got Kyle Larson bearing down on you now. What were you thinking when he was right behind you there?
I saw a white front wing a couple times when we got the traffic there, and I just assumed it was him. I don't know, I don't know who else it would be, but and you just go down there and try and hit your marks. I don't race behind me and try and pick and choose my spots in front of me and go where I think my car is going to be the best, and I can make the best lap time, really. So, just really happy it worked out our way. Really glad it went nonstop. I don't know if I'd have beat Chase in clean air and just the way the racetrack was. So. You never know, but it worked out our way for once, and great way to start the 10 days off, and hopefully we can keep the ball rolling this way and keep this Country Builders 88 up front and see where we're at in 10 days.
That big 360 show here a few weeks ago paid a lot of money. Your brother Carson won the big money. What did you learn from that night that you could carry over to tonight and this weekend?
I learned that we had a really good car, and we were probably going to need traffic and for it to slow down. I felt like Carson did an amazing job of driving and had a good car. I know how his car is, and we talk all the time. So our cars are almost identical at times, and he beat me fair and square the other week. So thought maybe we might need a little bit bigger motor, really, but and that probably showed a little bit qualifying tonight. But come feature time, I think we've got a great race car, and luckily Saturday we don't have to qualify. So that old horse underneath the hood over there is still getting the job done, and we'll just see where things shake out Saturday. Do our best. Hopefully it slows down a lot and gets slick and tricky, and I think we can pass some cars.
Yeah, you're going to come out of here with a pretty decent starting spot on Saturday night. How far back can you realistically be and still have a chance to win this race?
I don't know. They said I'm 6th in points, which is not good. I probably start around I would assume the 5th or 6th row, depending on how tomorrow shakes out. But I think it can be done from there. A couple years ago, me and Rico were charging through the field, and he ended up running 3rd, and I burned a mag up and didn't finish. So I think if the track conditions are right and we get the traffic at a decent time, and things get to moving around, I think we can. I think we can go forward. I don't know if we can win from the 5th or 6th row, but as the Tasty Tacos slogan says, anything is possible.
Any race here at Knoxville is meaningful to the McCarl family. Your dad's won this race 5 times. What would it mean for you to win this race? I know you've come close to winning the Knoxville Nationals. You started up front in that, but the 360 Nationals is pretty important too, isn't it?
Yeah, and it pays a lot more than it did every time my dad won. So I remember being a kid, and the 360 Nationals was just a weekly Saturday show, and my dad would a few times, I think 3 times, won the 360 Nationals and the 410 race in the same night. So this race has come a long ways. I kind of felt like driving around here today when I got here, but there was a lot of people here for 360 Nationals prelim night. So these 10 days just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think a lot of that's probably to Kyle. And I don't know if NASCAR being in town will help or hurt us, but yeah, I mean, we just keep building these 10 days up, and it's I don't know, it's an amazing time to be a sprint car fan and a sprint car driver. So we'll just keep working away here and try and doing our best, and see if we can't put on a good show on Saturday.
Hey, I can't let you go without talking about Monday night Front Row Challenge. Talk about that event. That's always a fun night.
30th Annual Front Row Challenge, broadcast on Flow. If you can't be there, on Oskaloosa Monday night, only I think 14 miles from here. So one of the best events of the year, exhibition race. A lot of guys coming into town. Nobody's point racing. Everybody's going after it all the time. So, and for that beautiful RIP Hulk Hogan style WWE belt. So yeah, it's a great event that my dad and mom have busted their butts on for 30 years now, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. But yeah, it's going to be a great race, and a nice little break up in between the Knoxville shenanigans that are going on, and just a great time. Old slogan, come to a race or come to a party and watch a race break out. So it's going to be a good time. I think, knock on wood, the weather's going to be beautiful, and really looking forward to Monday and hope to see everyone there. And again, if you can't be there on Monday, hopefully you can log into Flow and catch a great time.
And that's one race you got to be fast on foot, to get a good starting spot, right? You're still having foot races over there?
Yeah, I'm still mad at Mike Hess for calling me for jumping a couple years ago. I don't know if I did. I think I just timed it right. John Forrest and I have been working on that reaction time, and I think I was just pretty good. But no, that's it's going to be a special deal, and I know a couple of guys have injuries, so my dad's allowing you get a substitute. So it's going to be exciting. It's great for the fans. It's not going to be a King of the Hill like we'll do on Sunday that's been done a million times, or just go up there and draw a year. It's something fun for the fans and kind of mixes things up, and it's going to be a great time. My dad's all about entertainment and bringing as much value to the dollar for the people sitting in the stands and watching at home. So, and I think he's the best promoter on planet Earth, and you can see that a lot of other events that do nothing but copy him. So imitation's the sincerest form of flattery. So like I said, my dad's always trying to come up with new ideas and make things different and exciting for the fans and keep everybody on their toes and put on a great race.
And he's always handing out a lot of goodies to the racers too, doesn't he? Always has a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, always. One year he gave away complete chassis kits, which nowadays are worth probably $7-8 grand, and that just to win a heat race. So it's going to be a great time. I don't know all the prizes and goodies that he's got going on. That's my dad's deal. I kind of put the horse blinders on and just try and focus on my own deal. And I want to win the race. I want to win the race so bad. So last year I was garbage, but the year before, and usually I'm pretty good there. So we'll hopefully, like I said, keep the momentum rolling on Saturday and Sunday, and see what we can do on Monday.
Best luck rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
There he is. That is Austin McCarl, who won Thursday night's preliminary race at the 360 Knoxville Nationals. And he doesn't have as good a start as you'd think he should have winning the Thursday night feature, because he didn't earn enough points in qualifying in the heat races to warrant in the top 10, but he goes in the inside of the 6th row, Todd, Austin McCarl. So I think he's still going to have a fast enough race car to, at least be a factor, but to try to win this race and try to outrun Rico, who starts on the pole, and Larson, who starts outside second row, I don't know. That's going to be a pretty tall order.
It's kind of, like we talked about on Mostly Motorsports, it's, you put Larson on the front row or outside front row, he's probably got a better chance than not than winning. I'm just going to say that. But with Rico there, you never know. So I mean, it could be like you said. It looks like it could be between those two drivers, but that's a mighty list of drivers that are on that entry list, Kirk. That's a who's who of sprint car racing.
We haven't talked a lot about all the other races that went on last night, so let's kind of recap a little bit of that. At Pevely at I-55 Federated Auto Parts Speedway, just south of St. Louis, they had the World of Outlaws there last night on a racetrack that was one groove. It was at the bottom. They tried to race the top side. You know, it didn't rubber, but it was just kind of bottom dominant. They had it slicked off, and you just couldn't make time up on the high side on this racetrack in either the midget or the World of Outlaw race last night.
Yeah, that's not good.
And Carson Macedo started on the pole, and that's where you wanted to be last night, and he led all the way. Now, Donnie Schatz had one of his best. Matter of fact, he had his best finish of the year last night. He finishes second after starting fourth. Buddy Kofoid started eighth, ends up third. David Gravel, who started outside the front row, this is probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Is Gravel slipped to fourth.
How about that?
After starting on the outside of the front row. So very surprised to see that. You know why? Because Gravel tried to run the top side. It just didn't work out for him. And so he ends up in fourth place, and Logan Schuart ends up in fifth. So, yeah, it wasn't that great of a race last night. I hope they do a better job of prepping the racetrack, because flatly they just missed it last night over at I-55.
And that just kind of shows you how we just talked to Bob earlier in the show about how important it is getting these tracks dialed in the right way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. We know it's a science. It's an artwork. It's a science. It's, these guys are, I don't know. It's a craft. That's how I say these guys are craftsmen trying to get, to get this dialed in. And when you miss it, it can make all the difference in the world, Kirk, how the racing goes. So, like you said, I applaud everybody up there in Knoxville for how well the Duncans with their track. But I'm with you, Kirk. Then give them another night. Maybe we have something dialed in better up tonight.
Well, the midget feature was a little bit more entertaining, shall we say, at Pevely last night because of Cannon McIntosh turning Chase McDermott up into the wall in last night's feature event. McDermott had that race won, and he was trying to stay to the bottom of the racetrack, but it didn't work out so good for him as McDermott got turned into the wall by Cannon McIntosh. And shall we say Chase McDermott not very happy about it after the race? He goes up to Cannon after the race, and it didn't look like they were close to any kind of a fight or anything like that, but Chase was telling him exactly what he thought about it, and all Cannon said, well, he slowed down, and what am I supposed to do? And then Chase McDermott's response was, well, yeah, but if I slow down, why don't you just drive around me? How about that? And he said, the biggest mistake I made last night, says Chase McDermott, is I wasn't far enough ahead of Cannon.
Well,
that was my big mistake.
We know how it goes. Next day, you start thinking about how it all went down.
Carter Sarf, who pulled off the win coming off the final turn, his answer was, well, that was interesting. This one just fell into me. I just fell into it here. What can I say?
Yeah,
we'll take the win.
I was going to say, Carter.
We'll take it.
He ain't going to complain today. Today's a pretty good day, waking up the winner after the Ironman. So I'm like you, Kirk. It's one of those deals where it's a racing incident, right? I mean, it wasn't like he.
I'm not sure Chase McDermott thought it was just a racing incident.
But in the crowd,
I think that's what Cannon McIntosh thought.
Yeah, and I'm sure Carter Sarf saying the same thing.
Yeah,
just a racing incident,
But Carter Sarf. So tonight they'll do it again. Hopefully the track prep is better than what we saw last night.
I'm sure they'll work on
the
that.
Ironman 55. That's the longest race on the World of Outlaws Tour. That's a long race.
That's a lot of laps.
So we'll see what happens over there. There's $100,000 to win late model race tonight.
How about that?
$100,000 to win. It's World of Outlaws at Cedar Lake Speedway in New Richmond, Wisconsin. It is the USA Nationals, and Garrett Albertson will be on the pole. We had him on our show here a couple of weeks ago.
Sure did.
And he won the dash to put him on the pole for tonight's feature event. That was after Tim McCready won Thursday night's preliminary feature. So how this is going, they had a dash last night to determine the front row. It's a feature dash. So Garrett Albertson and Ryan Gustin will be on the front row. Chris Madden and Jonathan Davenport on row 2. Tyler Bruning and Jake Tim on the third row for $100,000. We'll keep tabs on that. The Belleville 305 Midget, it's the 305 Nationals, not the Belleville Midget Nationals. For years this weekend was the Belleville Midget Nationals, but they quit having that in 2017. So now they have the Belleville 305 Nationals. Kyle Jones is the defending winner of that race, and last night they had the preliminary round, and Whit Gastineau wins the feature event at Belleville last night. He outruns Joey Danley to the line. Lee Goose Jr. was third, Stephen Richardson fourth, and John Carney rounds out the top 5. Indiana Sprint Week winds up tonight at Hobstadt Tri-State Speedway. Who gets the rocking chair for winning the Indiana Sprint Week Championship? Well, right now you'd have to say Logan Seavey has got the best shot because he goes into the final night as the leader after winning last night's feature event at Bloomington Speedway. What a race we saw on Thursday night at Terre Haute. Robert Ballou and Chase Stockin were battling side by side in an epic race. And, you know, Ballou's had a fast race car, Todd. He's had a very fast race. He won at Lincoln Park Speedway earlier, but he's been upside down, and he got upside down again last night. I think he hit the tire on the back straightaway at Bloomington last night and went flipping.
Man.
So it's either checkers or
I was
wreckers
gonna say,
for
checkers.
Robert Ballou, and that's kind of his style, right?
He's always been that way, right?
Yeah.
Balls to the wall. I mean, every time.
But he's been fast every night.
Yeah, when he talked, I saw a photo of him the other day. He looks a little different than he used to look, Kirk.
Looks like he's lost weight.
He's lost some weight. He talked about it in one of his interviews that he said he was having.
He got emotional after that.
So, like you said,
race the other night.
We're thinking about maybe getting a hold of him, maybe get him on one of our.
Yeah, we'll try to. We haven't had him on.
Haven't had him on a while, so we always enjoy having Mr. Blue on. I never forget when he came out and ran out there at Lakeside, and he went out there and didn't let off the gas, Kirk, all the way around that track. I was full throttle all the way around and rode the top side of that thing. That race was over. It was kind of like that 360 Nationals that they were talking about earlier. The race was over in like 8 minutes. I mean, Robert Blue just ran the top of the racetrack.
That might have been one of the most exciting races we've ever seen at Lakeside.
There's still people talking about who was that guy. You know, people that don't know sprint. I'm like, that's Robert Blue, and
he's worth the price of admission.
If he's on the. That's what I'm going to say. If he's there on the board saying he's racing tonight, you might as well buy a ticket because it's worth watching.
Well, I'm looking at this Indiana Sprint Week points right now. Logan Seavey has a 4-point lead over Kevin Thomas Jr. coming in. Briggs Danner is third. Mitchell Moles fourth. Kyle Cummins fifth. You know who's not among the guys up at the top? Justin Grant. He's hurt. Broke his foot in a crash at Lawrenceburg, Indiana last Sunday night. He tried to give it a go at Kokomo. It just didn't work out, and so Justin Grant is sidelined, trying to heal up so he can get back in his Silver Crown car
for Sprint Week. Right?
That's put a hurting on his chances trying to win the Triple Crown this year. These injuries have just been the big story this summer.
It really has been.
Got a lot of guys hurt.
I sent you that picture of his foot with all the screws in it, and I sent you a picture of my wrist to show you the size difference of the screws, you know.
He had bigger screws than what you had in your wrist.
Oh, my gosh, those things.
And he tried to drive a race car.
Yeah. So when I saw those screws, you know, like I said, only frame of reference I have are the ones that I had in the plate in my wrist from when I broke my arm at the Chili Bowl, and those screws that I had may or maybe no more, and they wasn't an inch long, if that. And the ones that old boy had in his foot, they were big ones. They were monstrous looking screws holding all those foot places in. So I can understand why. You're not going to be able to push gas pedal down. You're not going to do much of anything with a foot broken like that. I mean, that's very unfortunate. And like
he tried.
Well, like you said, he gave it a go, and we saw Aaron Reitzel when he stepped out of the car with his broken foot. He immediately bent over and leaned over the edge of that car.
You can race with a broken nose.
Yeah, but
you can do that.
But when you got a broken hand or a broken foot, I don't think so. Boy, Kirk, I was going to say last night they raced at Lakeside. They got all the races in. The lights stayed on. Everything was a go. So if you haven't any thoughts about Lakeside Speedway or anything, it seems like everything was a go last night. Chad Clancy picked up the B-Mod win, so everything was a go. They had the kids flag special, and Racing Boys were part of that thing. I'm sure she gave away, Lisa probably gave away a hat or a T-shirt of Racing Boys, and I've got some coloring books that I picked up, and I really wish I would have made it out there last night because the little girl who won was a teeny tiny little thing, Kirk, and it'd have been perfect for her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I get an extra coloring book. I'm going to get those to Lisa this week, and she might be, if that little girl is back out there at the Speedway this Friday, we'll get her a coloring book because she was the cutest little thing out there she had an I-70 Speedway jacket on, or T-shirt on.
Wow.
So I was like, well, that's pretty cool.
That's an old T-shirt.
I think it looked like a new one. It may be one of the ones from last year, and it looked like a brand new I-70. And so anyway, it's good to see that Lakeside got their issues taken care of with the lights. I'm really glad that they were able to.
A lot of people lost confidence in those lights.
But everything's a go. I mean,
it was Mother Nature that
put
the hurting on them the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, like you said, rain like we had. Let me tell you, Kirk, my garage still smells like water. I don't get water in my garage. It's just everything around the whole neighborhood. Everything is just wet. It's saturated. So if you're going to the racetrack today, be careful. We know there's a lot of races out there today, and it's wonderful weather. So today's the day.
We got to get this in.
Yes, sir.
USMTS Modifieds are at Lucas Oil Speedway this weekend. Last night they raced in the night one of the Show Me Shootout at Lucas Oil Speedway, and Tanner Mullins won the feature event over Tyler Wolf. Tyler Davis, Bobby Williams, Nick Bittinger, your top 5 finishers, are going to do it again. They've also got races on the lake. They got the Lake Open.
That was my dad's favorite type of racing.
So there's no wind today, right?
No.
There can't be any wind if you're racing on the lake.
That's the whole thing. If you're doing those type of races, it's got to be smooth. I see Kelly Gardner just said that Chase Stockton won at Terre. He won at Terre Haute and he had a broken hand.
Yeah.
So it can be done. It's just, I'm sure it wasn't the most.
That was the first win of Chase Stockton in Indiana Sprint Week in 5 years. The year he won the Indiana Sprint Week championship.
How about that?
So big win for Chase Stockton as he dueled it out with Robert Ballou at Terre Haute. That was a hell of a race.
Yeah.
And so congratulations to Chase Stockton. C.J. Leary also won his first race in a long time at Circle City Speedway.
Absolutely.
On Wednesday night. So we've had a lot of different winners in Indiana Sprint Week. So it's Logan Seaby by 4 points over Kevin Thomas Jr. We'll see who sits in the rocking chair tonight at Hobstadt as Indiana Sprint Week winds down. Got the USMTS Modifieds at Lucas Oil Speedway. You got the Belleville 305 Nationals going on tonight. The Ironman 55 at Peebly, along with the Extreme Outlaw midget cars. You've got Knoxville. You've got Iowa Speedway, which is where I'm headed. As soon as we get off the air, I'm going straight to Iowa Speedway, Todd. Xfinity race. I'm going to have to listen to Cup qualifying as I'm driving up there because it takes 3.5 hours.
That's what I was getting ready to say. You're going to be listening to the thing.
Yeah,
I'm going to go
to Knoxville tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick Denny Hamlin to win today or tomorrow, Kirk. I think that's my pick.
Denny Hamlin?
That's my pick.
Really?
That's what I'm going to go out on. What do you think about?
He's won enough races.
I know, but that's my problem. I think that's the problem. I think
he got 4 wins.
Yeah, I think we're starting. You remember when Kyle Busch was so dominant there for a while, and it just was like, man, he's just going to win. I think Denny Hamlin has found something, and I'll pick. I'm going to go out on him. Kyle Larson may win today or tomorrow. I may pick Larson, but I'm going to say Hamlin. Larson's my backup.
How about Ryan Blaney winning 2 in a row at Iowa Speedway? That's my pick.
Boy, there you go. We're going to put that down right now for Kirk Elliott, for Ryan Blaney for 2 in a row. So.
And can Connor Zilisch keep his Xfinity streak going? He's got 3 in a row. He's, people said he's great on the road courses. Well, he's great everywhere. He won
like
Indianapolis last week. Can he make it 4 in a row? He won the ARCA race at Iowa Speedway a year ago. So Connor Zilisch going for 4 in a row today. I say he does it.
He can probably do it, and it's going to be a good race. I always like watching the races, the Xfinity race. They do a good show on their broadcast. Butterbean Queen won last night. How about that, Kirk?
He's the same guy who won out at Kansas Speedway earlier this year.
I was the one in the press room when he won last year, and luckily enough,
talked to Butterbean.
Yeah, I talked to him. I didn't ask any questions. Luckily, there was enough questions being asked. I didn't have to make up a question of my own, but I went up to him and afterwards and told him congratulations. He's a dirt track rider, right, Kirk? I think he was an old late model, maybe a late model driver.
What kind of a guy is he?
Really pretty nice kid. He's just like a kid with he's got his what do they call those hairs with a short in the front, long in the back?
The mullet.
He had the mullet working, and I told him we had a radio show, and I said, man, if you win again, we'll have you on. He said, call me up. I'll come on. So,
well, we better line that up.
Maybe Kirk Elliott up there today might bump into Butterbean Queen.
He'll try to sweep the year at Kansas when he comes back.
Absolutely.
In September.
That's what I said. I'll talk to you for sure in September. So
Butterbean Queen outdueled Brent Cruz.
It was a pretty good race, too.
You remember Brent Cruz won that
major
race at Valley Speedway?
He did. It was at Valley Speedway. That's right. I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys in the sprint car midget world that are working their way into the big series. And
so your top 5 last night at Iowa Speedway were Brendan Queen, Brent Cruz, Lawless Allen, Isabella Robusto. Remember her?
She was
qualified.
Kirk.
I think she was on the pole at Kansas last.
And she was in the top. She was second and third, running all night. She was in the top 5. Kirk. She had a really good run last night.
And Lamar Scott was 5th.
Yeah, it was actually. I watched quite a bit of that race. I was slipping back and forth between it and a little bit of base.
I think it's a good racetrack.
It is.
You remember last year the Cup race was really good.
Yeah, and we've had a lot. From what the feedback so far from the ARCA drivers and the practice, everybody that said, seems like they had the seasoning on the tracks, done nothing but do good things for it. So I think it's going to be a good race today, man.
Well, Scott had equipment issues up at Knoxville, so sorry we weren't able to reconnect with him.
We had him dialed in for a minute. We had his picture up there, but we just couldn't get it wouldn't sync up. And we also
sorry about that.
We had a graphics computer shootout on us today. It's been one of those
days.
Gremlin days is what they call those, Kirk, when you get the gremlins in the electronics. So
it'll probably be Tuesday when we post mostly motorsports.
Yeah, because we're going to still try to get some of these interviews from Knoxville, because we don't want to miss an opportunity to maybe sit down with the driver and get a little bit a longer interview than just our normal interview at Knoxville. So Kirk's going to be up there.
We'll keep you up to date. Monday's a little bit too quick because I'm going to be at Iowa Speedway and the Capitani and trying to turn around Monday.
Too much to do too quick.
That's a lot.
So like you said, it'll be up Tuesday. We'll get that bad boy knocked out for you, and pay attention on our social media. We'll post. I'll post a link on there and let you know when that thing will be ready to roll. And like you said, episode 271 Monday or Tuesday, whatever the case may be.
That's it.
We appreciate everybody, and if you could like, subscribe, and share that podcast, that helps us out a bunch.
And we got a big week coming up. The Knoxville Nationals open up on Wednesday.
Sold out already Saturday. How about that, Kirk Elliott?
That's earliest ever sellout.
I was showing my wife the picture of the track. I said, this place is sold out already Saturday. I was like, that just doesn't.
It's a great atmosphere up there. Larson is going for his 3rd straight win. He's led every lap the last 2 Knoxville Nationals.
Crazy.
He's won 3 out of the last 4, and he even won the event during COVID when they didn't have a Knoxville National. So
they didn't even have nobody.
Can anybody beat Kyle Larson at Knoxville?
No.
Here's the thing he told me. You heard that interview a little bit earlier. That his plan, he's got a race cup at Watkins Glen next weekend. So he's got to qualify for the A main on Wednesday night when he does his, qualifying. So he's got to make the A main.
So he's got pressure on him. He's actually got a little pressure on him there. Just don't get to show up and throw your hat in.
He cannot, because if you're in the top 50 in points, that means you don't have to run Friday night.
Yeah.
But if you don't make the top 50 in points, you got to run Friday night if you want to qualify for the Nationals. So he can't run Friday. So either he qualifies for the main event on Wednesday, or
he's not going to be.
He's not going to come back from Watkins Glen.
Well, that's a big to do for him. You know it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know he doesn't want to miss that.
Well, he barely made it in time for the hot laps last year.
Yeah.
And he had to fly into the Des Moines airport and then drive from Des Moines to Knoxville.
Yeah. Have seat.
Make the show.
Have helmet, will travel.
You can't because he can't be racing in the B or the C main.
Nope.
That's not going to work.
Not an option this time.
So we'll see what happens tonight. Kyle Larson and Rico Abreu are the two favorites tonight. We'll keep tabs on that. We'll talk about it on the Mostly Motorsports show. Todd, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks,
doing
Kirk
all you
Elliott. Be careful on your trip back to Iowa.
Yep.
I know you're to be that's a lot of highway driving for you. You've been busting up and down the highway the last couple of days, so be careful out there. It's just a lot of highway driving. Luckily, the weather's perfect for you.
Perfect weather, and we don't have to worry about it raining
No
out.
rain. It's going to be perfect tonight. You don't have to worry about bringing a little jacket just in case it gets a little chilly. That way you have a backup jacket just for those people that get a little chilly
Good
out
call.
there.
I got one in the back seat of the car.
That's how you do it.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. For Scott Trailer, I'm Kirk Elliott. Track Talk brought to you by Rod End Supply and the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.